Debbie Calhoun from Southeastern Cellular. Let me tell you about the perfect match. Singular's new push-to-talk feature and our new extended coverage area. That's right, now there's no need to carry two phones, one for push-to-talk and one to work in rural areas. Southeastern Cellular now has both in one unit. Come to any of our Southeastern Cellular locations for details.
Barry Miller, welcome to this week's episode of Big Boys Toys, Quintard Avenue, right here in Anniston, Alabama. You know, we hadn't filmed much around Anniston this year because we've been all over the state showing you cars from different parts of the state. Tonight, every car you're going to see is from right here, Anniston, Oxford, or the surrounding area. Got some great looking cars. We got Chevrolets, we got Mopars, we got a little bit of everything. We got Harleys, we got it all. Sit back, relax. We'll be right back with Big Boys Toys.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again for Big Boys Toys. Tonight, your host Barry Miller will bring you the sleekest, trimmest automobiles from around the area that have been beautifully restored. If you love streamlined, full-force race cams, then this show is for you. So sit back, but don't get too relaxed. This is Big Boys Toys.
Looking for great savings on new and pre-owned cars and trucks? Then head on over to Ron Newton Pontiac Cadillac GMC. Our courteous and knowledgeable sales team is ready to show you our huge selection of cars and trucks at out-the-door prices. Don't settle for our competition's offer. At Ron Newton Pontiac Cadillac GMC, we're committed to sales, service, and customer satisfaction. So head on over to Ron Newton's. We'll treat you right. That's Ron Newton Pontiac Cadillac GMC, top of the hill, Quintard.
First vehicle, 1971 Corvette, Mr. Tony Woodard. Tony, welcome to Big Boys Toys.
Thank you, Barry.
First of all, before we talk about this thing, let's talk about this award. You just got back from San Antonio, Texas. Now, Tony takes it serious. I mean, NCRS is serious business to Tony, and they just got back from San Antonio, Texas, was gone 10 days to get an award for this car. Tell me about that award.
This car, 71 car, NCRS, National Corvette Restore Society, they have an award system whereby they award stars to cars that are judged in their bow tie star category, which is for unrestored Corvettes. This particular car here has got 6,400 miles on it. Original tires is on the car. And the car was judged, it got a star in all four categories: the chassis, the engine, the paint, and the interior. There's only 281 Corvettes ever received the bow tie award, which is the 4 stars, a star in each category. It really did well out there. But that's the highest award that NCRS offers for an unrestored car, and that car happened to get it. We were certainly proud.
So what kind of motor and all we got in?
This car is basically a base car. It's 270 horse, 350. Got a turbo 350 automatic transmission. The only two options this car has is tilt and telescopic steering, power brakes, and AM/FM radio.
Tell me a little bit about the history of this car. How can you find a car this old and not have any miles on it?
It was back last fall when I was talking to a man, said he had seen the car, but he hadn't seen it on the internet lately, and told me about it. So I kept going to the Corvette websites on the internet. The car was bought new in Alpena, Michigan, and it was bought by a photography studio. And the gentleman that owned a photography studio kept it inside the studio with the clients and everything. And the only time they took the car out was to take wedding pictures, use it as a backdrop in wedding pictures. And the man died last year, and his wife decided she would sell the car, and I finally got hooked up with a broker that had the car and bought it from him. But the car is still the original tires on the car.
How many do you see where it's completely original like that? And
the ones that you'll see will have a lot of miles. They'll have 30, 40, 50,000 miles on them, but rarely do you see one that kind of mileage. That car there even still has the original air breather.
So actually the air breather hadn't been changed either.
Never been changed. The oil's been changed, but that's all. The oil filter's been changed, but that's it.
If you change the oil or you change anything, you keep everything that come off of this car, right?
Right, yeah. Of course, it would have been nice if the owner had known and kept the old oil filter, the first one he had when he took it off, but he didn't. But they kept the car inside where humans were all the time. Therefore, it's kind of different. Say it's been in a heated garage or air-conditioned garage. The humidity level in where humans stay is different than you would have just in an air-conditioned garage. And therefore, that's why the tires are not dry rotted, why the seats and the dash are not dry rotted. The car really looks just as it did, other than where people's leaned up on it when they took pictures on the fenders where they pitted that enamel paint a little bit. That's why they awarded this car so highly, is because all 4 areas of this car can be used to teach people this is what you want the car to look like.
And it can teach the judges what to look for.
Absolutely.
Because the judges look at this car, they can't find nothing wrong with it.
We were in San Antonio, and for 3 solid days, people stayed on this car looking at it, taking pictures of nuts and bolts, just things that you wouldn't believe on the car. But like I say, NCRS is a different ball game.
It's a whole lot different than regular judging at a car show.
Oh, yeah. The standards are almost unreachable.
What's the next award you can get with it?
The next award will be the 5th star that goes in the middle of the bow tie award, and that all I got to do is display it. The judging is over for that car from now on.
So now you just got to go to so many events or take it somewhere?
Right. It's got to go to 2 regionals and 1 more national. The next national will have to go to Boston, Massachusetts next August. Judging's over that car. It's done all it can do, but it's an expensive piece now after you get to 4 stars.
After you get the 4 stars, you want it, you're going to have to pay for it. But it probably ain't for sale, so don't worry about it.
That's right.
Tell you what, Tony, good looking vehicle. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be right back. When you have an accident and your car breaks down the road, you have so much on your mind, you don't know where to turn. I've got your answer. Skinner's Body Shop and Record Service here in Oxford, Alabama has 24-hour towing 7 days a week. They'll be there when you need them. Also, remember, when you do have that unexpected accident, you can choose the body shop of your choice to repair your vehicle. And the Skinner name has been known for professionalism and attention to detail for service for their customers for over 45 years. So stop by or call Skinner's Body Shop today. Tell them Barry Miller sent you by. You know, a lot of people, when you say molded carpet, they don't know what you're talking about. Auto Custom Carpet right here on Noble Street, downtown Anniston. Ken Hall and his staff, they have molded carpet for your vehicle. Molded carpet means it fits right in your vehicle. Pre-cut, all you have to do is pick out the color, tell them the make of the car, go in there on Monday, order that carpet. Guess what? Towards the end of the week, they'll be calling you to pick it up. Go home, it will lay right in that car. Any type car made, they have it right there at Auto Custom Carpet. Go by today or call and tell them Barry Miller from Big Boyz Toys sent you by. You know, in the state of Alabama, one thing that better be working perfect is that air condition. For all of your central heating and air condition needs, contact Wayne Mizell at Mizell Heating and Air Condition here in Oxford. They are state certified, bonded, and insured. Wayne and his staff do service, installation, new construction, and that yearly inspection. You know, every time you get a yearly inspection on that air conditioning unit, they check the Freon and check everything out, and it saves on that power bill. So give a call today at 835-0509. Tell them Barry Miller told you to call. Next vehicle, 1965 Chevelle, Tony Baxter. Ain't your ordinary Chevelle, you know. Mom won't let you drive. Listen, tell me about your car, Tony.
1965 Chevelle. Good friend of mine drove this car to work every day, probably 25 years ago. Carolyn Dalton. Ed Chandler bought it from her, made a race car out of it. Run stock. It's a national record holder in stock with IHRA for years. It's the first car his mother, Cleo Chandler, ever raced. Then Ed sold the car to Brother Henson. Brother raced it for several years, and I bought it from Brothers.
And when Ed Chandler touches one, it's got to race. And Ed races the other car that his mother used to race too now.
He's now racing it, that's right. And it is also a 65 Chevelle.
What size motor and all you got in it?
421.
Can Ed drive that 65 like his mother could?
He's pretty good. Ed's been out one time that I know of in the car since he started driving, and he run it up.
Her name is known all over the United States as a race car driver.
She sure is.
I mean, she's just super. Tell me about this paint job. Now, somebody asked me, says, was Tony in the Marines or
My son.
his son's in the Marines?
I put it on there. My son been in about a year and a half, stationed in Honolulu, and I decided I wanted to paint the car after I had some surgery and decided to put the Marine Corps emblems and all
Now, where's some of the places y'all race? I know you and Sherry go a little bit everywhere.
We race as far north as Toronto, Canada.
If Sherry gets a trip to Canada in a motorhome, she really don't care if you get out and run or not, does she?
No, she don't really care.
Because she had a good ride up there and she gets to camp out. So if you get out and run, that's more time she's got to go shopping and do what she wants to.
There you go. We always go up Niagara Falls. It's about 45 miles from Niagara Falls.
Well, you run down to, most of them run an 8th.
All the division races are 8th mile, and we run 7-second 8th mile. I have to slow the car down to run a 7-second 8th mile, run a 10.90 quarter mile.
We was in Florida one year at Panama City at the Corvette cruising, and Ed Chandler and I think you was there, Marvin, a bunch of us racing somewhere in Florida. And we all left Panama City and we come over there to watch that racing. And I couldn't figure out something. Y'all take off, and then if you're going too fast, you'll see it slow down and then take off again.
That's right.
When I used to go to drag strip, you punched it and you held it till you got to the other end.
Now it's all changed. Everybody's automatic. And you got to slow it down to run. If you didn't do that, then only people got plenty of money could race. This is a level, entry-level class. Anybody can run in hot rod with it if you do certain safety things for it. And you can run a 7-second. You can spend, $2,000 or $3,000 on a motor, and you can run a hot rod class in a decent
Do they have a class now where it's just straight up, just go, and the one's got the fastest car to the other end wins?
All your pro classes are that way. You go pro mod, you top fuel, funny cars, all that stuff, you go the other end. Quickest one there wins. But everything else, even up through top dragster, is what they call a bracket race. It's who gets the other end without going under.
Do you get a thrill when you hit it?
Oh yeah, there's nothing like it. That's the reason I'm there.
The first time you raced this car, somebody had an oil leak.
Oh, that was the first time the steering wheel come off in my hand.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, the second time.
I'll go over the steel.
Steering wheel come off and your hand's running up, but he would go down the steel, and somebody losing some oil, and he hits it. When you hit this thing with that kind of horsepower, and it gets away from you, just hold on.
It was bad.
It was bad.
I went through the 8th mile looking at the sideways, hit the wall.
Hit the wall, hit the wall, hit the wall. What did Sherry do?
She didn't. I don't think she knew what happened until it was over. She just thankful the car didn't turn over, and I was too, because I just knew it was going to barrel roll.
How'd the steering wheel come off in your hand? You just punch it and poof?
Got a little lock, and I didn't push it down far enough to engage the lock, so when I let off on my line, it pulled off in my hand.
We can't say it on TV. When we get done, I want you to tell me what you said when that steering wheel come off in your hand.
Oh.
And you was wide open. I like to know what you said.
Well, I got unwide open real quick.
Hit the brakes real fast.
That's right.
Tell you what, good looking vehicle. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Keach Optical, right here on Quintard Avenue. They're across from Amco Transmission on Quintard. I tell you what, the staff in their place are second to none. Hearing aids, they have hearing tests in there. They got hearing aids in there. And glasses, he's got any kind of glasses you want. He has the type like I wear, it has no frame on it. He has these with the clip on it for sunglasses, just about anything. They have a doctor on staff that can do your prescription. And they also, the hearing test right there, they do it right there in the place and get your hearing aid today. Most turnaround on the glasses, they say turnaround's about 24 hours, maybe 2 days at max, turn around your glasses. He puts a 10 in them. He does anything right there. So go by there and tell him Barry Miller from Big Boyz Toyz sent you by. Mount Cheahaw Harley Davidson right here in Oxford, Alabama, Davis Loop Road. They're your Harley Davidson dealer for this area. In my opinion, they're a Harley Davidson dealer all areas. Stop by and see Keith or George today. They have about 40 Harleys on display. Buy a new Harley. They have used Harleys. Clothes, you people like the Harley leather. They got any type of Harley clothing you want. Helmets, you name it, it's right there. All you guys with Harleys want to put that extra chrome on that brand new Harley. They got any type of chrome you could want. Stop by Mount Cheahaw Harley Davidson today. Tell them Barry Miller from Big Boyz Toyz sent you by. Looking for a classic car? Don't know where to look? I got the answer for you. Austin Hines Motors in Arab, Alabama. Austin has 55, 56, 57 Chevrolets, Camaros, Chevelles, Novas, Corvettes. Any type of classic car you could want, he has it in one location. They have over 100 classic cars in stock. They also have cars that you can rebuild yourself and restore yourself right there at that location. He's also the largest wrecker and rollback dealer for this area. So call Austin today, 256-931-2277. Tell him I told you to call. Next vehicle, 03 Harley, David Brandsma. David, welcome to Big Boy. Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
I got it
Close
right.
enough.
See, I ain't that slow. Tell me about the Harley a little bit. I know you You've got it for sale and all. Tell me a little bit about the Harley.
Well, it's an 03 100th anniversary Screaming Eagle Deuce. Very limited production bike. It's made at the custom vehicle operation. There's a separate assembly line for Harley-Davidson, and a team of like 4 or 5 people hand assemble every bike. It has its own assembly line.
It's made entirely different than the regular Harleys that come
Yes,
through.
sir. Right. And it's fully accessorized from the factory. It's really ideal for somebody that has limited imagination as far as dressing out a Harley, because it comes loaded with all kinds of chrome. In this particular bike, it even has a bigger engine, a 1550 engine.
You know, I tell them all the time, I've got one too, and I know how bad it is because you always want them to add this, add that. You know, you want to put extra chrome on your Harley and stuff.
Right.
And this one, looking at it, I don't see much you could put on this bike.
I mean, if you go over it, there's still a big, thick accessory book that's about 1.5 inches thick of Harley accessories. It still could probably a few pieces be added to it, but this came with quite a few accessories. This bike sold new for $30,000.
When it sells for $30,000, you know it wasn't many of them made, and it's got to be top notch.
Yes.
Now, what color you call this?
And I wouldn't even know exactly what the color is called, but it's a gold two-tone paint job. Each year they traditionally come in 1 or 2 colors. They make like different phases of them. They'll make maybe 2 generations of this bike in 1 year. But this is probably the most popular one. It was the first one they did that year, and I think the other one was maybe a dark blue, trimmed out a little different.
It's a super bike all the way around.
Right. And it's been lowered. The young lady that owns it is only 5'2".
Yeah, she's a little bitty rascal.
Right, and she only put 7,300 miles on it, and so it's been gently taken care of.
And someone's interested in buying it or something, who do they need to contact?
They can contact me at Cameron,
Okay, you want to give your number? Cause
and the number is 256-237-0960.
And this one's actually ready to go.
It's ready to roll.
To have that many, that fewer miles on, let me get my speech right, fewer miles on it. She didn't drive it a lot, she couldn't have.
No, she's a school teacher in Oxford, and her husband also rides, and I think she'd still keep the bike if it weren't for the fact they moved to the river and they want to buy some jet skis.
Yeah, jet skis run a little better on the water than a Harley will, but
Right.
you can buy several jet skis selling this Harley, I'm sure.
NADA average retail on it's 19.7. We're asking 19.5, and there's a couple more for sale in Alabama elsewhere that are running 24,000.
You know, you have to look at what it costs new and the depreciation and this, that, and the other of the bike.
And how well it's taken care of.
I'll tell you what, good looking bike.
Cream
Appreciate
puff.
you being on the show.
Thanks, Barry.
He's going to get his private bike, the one he owns and he rides all the time, and it'll be on next week's show, so you don't want to miss it. We'll be right back. Farmers and Merchants Bank. Farmers and Merchants Bank's got 4 locations to serve you. Piedmont, Anniston, Oxford, and downtown Jacksonville. 90 years of service. I'll tell you what, Farmers and Merchants Bank is the bank. You know, it's not like any other bank around. You can go in and they get your decision today. They make your decision on a loan or whatever you need right in that location. You have a personal banker that takes care of you right here. Don't have to send it to Birmingham, Charlotte, or anywhere. Go by one of the Farmers and Merchants Bank today. Tell them Barry Miller from Big Boyz Toys sent you by. You know, when someone smiles at you during the day, it kind of makes you feel great all over. Dr. Travis Phillips and his friendly staff right here in Oxford, Alabama, says stop by their office and they'll help put that beautiful smile on your face. They have teeth whitening, general dentistry, cosmetic dentistry, dental hygienist, oral surgery, everything right here in Oxford, Alabama. He has full x-rays and partial x-rays that he does right in his office, and you'll find out right then what he needs to do. They got professional staff. They have a saying, go the extra mile for the beautiful smile. Stop by and tell them Barry Miller from Big Boyz Toys sent you by. You know, 90% of most homeowners don't know they have a pest or termite problem until they have a very expensive repair bill. Why not let the professional staff at Rice Pest Control inspect your home before it happens? With 50 years of experience in Northeast Alabama and with their free termite inspection for new customers, don't you think it's better be safe than sorry? Call Tracy Rice today or one of his sales staff. Tell him Barry Miller told you to call. Hey, if you mention Big Boyz Toys, you get 50% off your first initial service. So call them today at 1-800-850-4661. Oxford Tire and Lambert, Hammock Drive right here in Oxford, Alabama. They're your RV front end and tire balancing headquarters for this area. They also have the Top Dog muffler systems, and they carry Uniroyal, BF Goodrich, Michelin, Goodyear, and Dunlop tires. You guys with the street rods and the regular cars want mag wheels? This is your one stop for your mag wheels also. They do brakes from passenger vehicles all the way to a 1-ton dually. Front end on passenger vehicles, they're second to none in the area, and they fast and quick. Give Alan or Tommy a call today at 831-6320. Tell them Barry Miller told you to call. Next vehicle, David Goodson, a 1955 Chevrolet. It's not like an ordinary 55 either. David, welcome to Big Boyz Toyz. Been trying to get him for about 8 months, but I ain't been filming close. Tell me about your car.
Well, this old car's got a lot of history behind it. A lot of people that see it's going to remember it belonging to Johnny and Scott Cofield from Chocolate. They raced this car for years. And when Johnny got sick and decided to get rid of it, they called me wanting to sell it. And I went out there to take a look at it, and I always liked it because of it being a chop top. So it was a solid white car, and I bought it with the full intention of leaving it white. When I started taking the lettering off of it, some of the paint pulled off, and I called Stacy from up at Anderson Auto Trim. He come out to the house and picked it up. And I told him just sand the spots off and paint it white. And he called me the next morning, wanted me to come up there, and I got there, and he said, it's going to have to be red. So he said, if I'm going to paint it, it's going to have to be red.
It's going to have to be red like the rest of them.
That's right. So we wound up painting it red, and once they got the color on it, it looks so good and so straight. I decided to go ahead and just finish it out. So I got a hold of Marty, and he put the flames on it and airbrushed all of the chrome and everything on it. We rebuilt the motor, put a little bit more motor in it, a little more rear end. We kind of put it on the back burner. I got the old convertible out here a while back and running it out in Orska, Outlaw Street Cars, and we got on a winning streak and winning money with it. And so this one here just kind of been sitting over in the back. I got to get on it and get finished up with it pretty soon.
You raced this one where, around here, or where all you raced this one in?
We hadn't really raced this car any yet. I just got it back and got it running, and it's not running quite as fast as I want it to, so I'm going to have to go back through it and do some other stuff. I got to pick it up about 4/10. I want to run this car in the 6.0 class. I'm going to have to pick it up about 3 or 4/10 so that I'll have something to play with.
Now, what size motor's in this one?
This one's got a 408 small block in it with alcohol, and it's got a 9-inch forward and power glide transmission in it. I built this old motor, and I should have built a little bit more motor when I built it, but I didn't. I thought that I had it to where it run what I wanted to, but it's not going to do it.
Now, getting into 6s, that's pretty quick for that heavy a vehicle.
Well, that old car's not real that heavy.
Most 55s are.
Yeah, most of them are, but I put that car on a set of scales here a while back, and without me in it, it weighs 2,570 pounds.
So that's it's been cut down some?
Well, yeah, it's
just don't have everything.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's been taken out of it. You know, it's got, of course, it's all steel car now except for the front end. Front end's fiberglass, the rest of it's steel. It's not real heavy.
Most all of them's front end's fiberglass. That's just, you want to be as light as you can when you get there.
Yeah, well, that's the quickest way to cut. That's the quickest way to cut weight is on the front end, because you can get rid of the inner fenders and the core support and the fenders and the hood on a steel car, and you can save quite a bit of weight.
Now this one, have you run it in, or you just
carried it to Huntsville and was going to try it right after I got it put together. Was going to really lean on it a little bit and tore it up, just tore it all to pieces. I tore everything under the rear end out. I had to have all that replaced. So
they sell 9-inch Ford rear end stuff. It is to get one of them motors behind it.
It is until it starts twisting. And it broke a bar, and when that broke that bar and it started twisting, it just tore everything up.
How long did it take you to fix it?
Probably about 2-3 weeks.
Yeah,
it took 2 hours to load it on the trailer.
And the paint job, I know you get a lot of compliments on the paint job on it.
Stacy's gin is like from.
Stacy's good.
Stacy's good, and Stacy's painted a lot of stuff for me. When he started on that old car, and he called me and told me to come up there, and he said it's got to be red, and I said, well, you know, I just hate to spend that much money. And he said, I'm going to do the door jambs for free, but we're going to paint it red. And I said, well, just get on it. It hadn't been sanded, buffed, or anything. It really gets slick if I took the time to buff it.
I'll tell you what, it's a good-looking vehicle. You'll see this car around Anniston because he's right here on Quindart Avenue. You might not see him driving down Quindart, but you'll see him on Quindart. Appreciate you being on the show. We'll be right back. Let me tell you about a place right here in North Alabama that was voted one of the #1 romantic locations in the state of Alabama. Covenant Cove Lodge and Marina in Gunnersville, Alabama is that place. From weddings, family reunions, class reunions, bass tournaments, or just that quiet getaway for two, Covenant Cove is your answer. They have the Blue Parrot restaurant and lounge right on property. They have great food, good entertainment each and every night. They will assist you in planning and booking everything for your special event. Call Pam or one of the sales staff today at Covenant Cove and tell them Barry Miller from Big Boyz Toyz told you to call. Triplett Paint and Decorating right here on Wilmer Avenue in Anniston is your home improvement headquarters for this area. They have DeVoe, Benjamin Moore, and Coronado paints that go on good and look great once they're on. They also have all the materials needed to do that special job around the house. Carpets, they carry Shaw and Mohawk. Hardwood floors by Robbins, so everything is in one location. Remember, DeVoe, Benjamin Moore, and Coronado paints are used by professionals all over the United States, and it's one of the best on the market. Stop by today. Tell them Barry Miller from Big Boyz Toys told you to stop by. You know, a great privilege we have as U.S. citizens is that we can vote for a candidate of our choice in a general election regardless of our parties. When we look for a circuit judge, we want someone with integrity, honesty, and knowledge of the law. Brian Howell is that candidate. A graduate of Alexander High School, JSU, and the University of Alabama Law School, Brian has served as citizens in the United States Armed Forces for 13 years and as Assistant District Attorney for 14 years. So Brian is the best candidate for this position. So join me in November and vote for Brian Howell for Circuit Judge. Next vehicle, 1972 Chevy Nova. Ed Morrison. Ed, welcome to Big Boyz Toys.
Hey.
Tell me a little bit about your car, Ed.
Actually, it's a Rally Nova. I just don't have the stripe down the side yet. I'm not real happy with the paint, and the stripes cost about $250. We'll wait to redo the paint before we put the stripes on there. But
Now, the Rally Nova ain't many of them around, because I remember seeing a few back in the 70s.
it's a 3-speed car, Muncie 3-speed. Most of them you see come with Saginaw 4-speeds. Daddy's cousin bought this car new, and Daddy bought it 1 year later. This was his hunting, fishing, work car. This was the car. They parked it in 91, and about 2 years ago I decided to put a starter on it just to see if it cranked, and here it is.
2 years later.
2 years later.
So the starter must have worked.
Yeah, the starter worked. It started it right up, but I couldn't have done this without Sonny Waits' help. We did it at his house, used his tools and his stuff. But
That son ain't work on anything.
yeah, he's got a lot of know-how on these old cars. But the motor, it's a 350. Brother Henson redid the motor. Pretty much everything else
I've seen you in Sneed, Alabama. I've seen you in Getz, and I've seen you a little bit everywhere with this car.
No, not really. Mumford's about as far as I've been.
Now, didn't I see
No,
you
I'm
in
just kidding.
Sneed?
I'm just kidding you.
I started saying, I know I seen you in Sneed, Alabama. I might be slow, but I ain't that slow.
No, I like taking it out. It's been too hot to take it out these days. And ain't got no air conditioning, but it's a good car in the winter.
A lot of them's putting the vintage air in just so they can take them out during the wintertime, but when you do that, you change the value of that car.
Well, air conditioner just takes up a lot of room under the hood.
Well, you think about it, back in 72, they drove them every day and they didn't have air conditioning.
Well, this is 2006, and my wife really don't like riding in it, sweating.
Now, what color blue you call that?
I'll call it a tropical blue right now for you, but it's pretty much the closest to the factory blue you could get. It's called a medium metallic blue. They actually shot this car. They got the color off this from Tim Jones, and they told him when he painted his it was original color.
How did the motor work?
Brother.
I mean, he rebuilt it, but I
Yeah.
mean the chrome and all that. You and Sonny do it, or?
No, you can order new stuff. They got a book that thick on new stuff you can get for these cars. Pretty much every nut and bolt's been turned on this car, and underneath's just as clean as the top.
So you
about
actually
it.
took it apart. Once you
Yeah.
found out it would crank,
Yeah.
you just.
It
Now, how
was
long did it take y'all to do all that you wanted to do to it? I know it's a project.
It's about every day for a year solid. And the paint takes a long time waiting, but I mean, laying up under it, taking it apart, doing everything else just takes a while.
And Sonny take it apart, did he say unscrew that bolt there?
No, he helped out on like giving me a hand stuff and a lot, but most of the time I was by myself waiting on him.
Sonny's good to have around just for the knowledge. You
Yeah.
just want knowledge of how to do it and don't want to get lost.
Well, I'd never tore a motor down before, and he helped me with a motor.
I could tear one down. That wouldn't be the problem when I got ready to put it back together.
Well, a lot of that.
Well, way back on. I think I can handle it now, but.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff you just don't want to rush.
But and you learned a lot by him helping you. Now you could probably do it yourself.
Well, I'm kind of burnt out on it now. I'd like to get started on something else, but
Something with air conditioning.
yeah, something with air conditioning. I ain't got no room for nothing else, so
You ain't
that's
got
the
no room to
problem.
put nothing else. You ain't gonna put air in this, and you start on another project.
Yeah.
Tell you what, good looking vehicle. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks, Barry.
We'll be right back. Minton Home Center and Signature Homes of Oxford is your #1 locations to purchase that dream home you've been waiting on. From single wides, double wides, even triple wides, Minton has the manufactured home for everyone. They have land home programs with little or no money down financing. With a combination of over 30 homes on both locations, they have the home